Hey there, I'm Christina Johnson, transformational nutrition coach and owner of Christina Johnson Wellness. And I have a question for you tonight. Does it ever feel like it takes so much willpower to eat healthy and to stick with it and to lose weight? If you can answer yes to that question, just put a yes in the comments or hit the like button so that I can hear what you think. But I remember back to my days when I was dieting, I just remember feeling like some days it was the easiest thing in the world. I could eat healthy, I could stick with it, I was motivated, everything was great. And then there'd be other days where I did not feel that way. It felt like I just had to do everything I possibly could to get through the day, to avoid binging on sugar or carbs or whatever it was I was craving at the time. And looking back now, I can see that number one, I really wasn't losing weight in the healthiest way. And so that's what was making me feel like it was harder some days to avoid those bad choices. But number two, I didn't have any strategies or tips or tricks that could get me through those rough days and not make it feel so bad. And so that's what I want to share with you today. I have 5 tips on how to lose weight in a healthy way so that you don't have to rely so much on willpower. So some of these tips are very practical things to do, but then a couple of them are more mindset things. And that's what I wish I had back 10 years ago with some of the mindset pieces, because I think I could have handled those bad days with more ease if I had just known what to do. So let's get started with these 5 tips for eating healthy and losing weight without relying on your willpower. So number 1 is to know your bigger why. So this one is, it sounds pretty simple, but it really is powerful. So stick with me here for a minute. Your bigger why is that deep down reason why you really want to lose weight or why you really want to improve your health, whatever your goal is. And so what I recommend you do is figure out what is that. Why is it important to you to eat healthy, to go to the gym more, to improve your health? And the trick here, my little pro tip, is ask yourself 5 whys. So go deeper. So for example, let's say your goal is to lose weight. So you ask yourself, why do I want to lose weight? And maybe your first thought that comes to your head is that you just want to be able to get up in the morning and pull anything out of the closet and put it on and feel good. So that's the first why. But then you could ask yourself, well, why? Why is it important to me to be able to get dressed in the morning and be able to put on anything from my closet? And then maybe your answer is, well, it just puts me in a bad mood. Every day I start in a bad mood because I can't find a shirt that covers my belly. And so then you ask yourself, why? Why is it important to me to not start my day in a bad mood? And maybe then you realize, well, that's really carrying over into how I interact with my kids in the morning, with my coworkers. Maybe I just feel less confident about myself overall, and that's carrying over into my work performance. Whatever it might be. So that is the first tip, is to really figure out why and go 5 layers deep, and until you get to a reason that really feels like, yes, that is why this is so important to me. And I know, again, it sounds pretty simple, but I can tell you from firsthand experience, those times when I've had a really big, powerful why, it has been so much easier. I felt like I could do anything. But then there's other times where I'm just like, yeah, it'd be nice to tighten up my diet a little bit or lose a couple pounds, but I didn't really have a big motivator. Then I just didn't stick with it nearly as much. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2, okay, this is a big one, and this is one that I truly do wish that I had 10 years ago. And that is, when you get a craving for anything, acknowledge it. So what I used to do, and what I know that a lot of my clients used to do, is that when you get a craving or you want some M&Ms or some sugar or a glass of wine or chocolate, you try to distract yourself, you think about something else, or you try and push it down, or you try just not to think about that craving. But what happens then is when you're trying to shove down your cravings or distract you from them or not think about them, they just tend to build and grow. It's like, imagine for a moment if you had a beach ball and you were holding that, or trying to hold that beach ball underwater. You can kind of hold it underwater for a while. Have you done this before? but eventually the pressure builds up and that beach ball just shoots to the surface. And that's what happens with cravings. When you try to just like shove them aside or stuff them down or not think about them, it only builds and they come back with a vengeance. So the kind of way to deal with this is when you get a craving, just acknowledge it. Like sit there. If I'm wanting chocolate, I will just sit there and like, yeah, I want some chocolate right now. It's okay that I want chocolate. There's nothing wrong with me because I want it. But I don't have to give in to it. And I will tell you that most people find that craving will go away within 10 minutes max, but typically between like 2 minutes and 5 minutes when they just sit with it and acknowledge it and don't stuff it down. So that is tip number 2, is just to acknowledge when you're having a craving, just sit with that feeling and know that it's not the end of the world. Okay, number 3, the way to lose weight without relying so much on willpower is to reduce your sugar and processed foods. And I know you might be thinking, well, that's part of the problem. It takes so much willpower to avoid sugar and to avoid all those processed foods. But here's the thing, if you can commit to getting the sugar out of your system, I love 21 days, but even if you can commit to it for 3 to 5 days or a week, I promise you that once it is out of your system, you will stop wanting it so much and it will feel easier to stick with eating healthy then. You know, I hear this a lot from clients, but I recently talked with one of my clients, Darlene. Her and I actually did a Facebook Live conversation together a week or 2 ago, so you can go watch that. But what Darlene told me was that when she did my fall 21-day clean eating reset, and in her head, when I told her that we're doing no sugar, no caffeine for 21 days, she said, Christina, I am not giving up my sugar and you're not taking away my caffeine. But she did it. She went all in. She made up her mind. She made the decision that she was going to do this. And I can still remember, I can't remember if it was the first week's call or after the second week, but she got on and she just was so excited to share how easy it was for her to give up sugar and caffeine. So I hear that all the time from people. They think there's no way I can do this, but when you do it in the right way and still support your body, it's actually not as hard as you might think to cut out sugar and processed food. And then it takes so much less willpower to stick with eating healthy because those cravings start to go away. Okay, tip number 4, how to lose weight without relying on your willpower, is to give your body the basic nutrients that it needs. So what is true is that most often when we have a craving or when we're wanting something, it's usually because there's some kind of imbalance going on within our body. One type of imbalance are just nutrient deficiencies. So for example, if you are not getting in enough water, you will start to crave things, and oftentimes it's sugar. Or for example, if you're deficient in magnesium, that can lead to chocolate cravings. If you're deficient in chromium, that can lead to sugar cravings. So there's so many just basic nutrient deficiencies that when you're not getting all the nutrients you need, you're going to be much more likely to have cravings, which makes it, you just have to have so much more willpower to stick with it. So my recommendation is that when you're trying to eat healthy, don't worry so much about just eating fewer calories and cutting back your portion sizes. Instead, what you want to do is make sure that you're eating really good quality, nutrient-dense foods so that you're getting all those vitamins and minerals and the nutrition your body needs so that the cravings just go away. So just a couple quick tips. Water definitely is huge. Make sure you're getting enough water in every day. Protein is another important one. Make sure you're getting protein, especially at breakfast, but also lunch and dinner. And fat. Fat is huge. You want to be getting in some fat with each of your meals. I feel like fat, it like has this magical property. It flips off that switch in your brain that is always wanting you to like look for some other food. So when you're getting enough protein and enough fat and all these important nutrients, then all of a sudden you just stop thinking about food so much. And that is amazing. So that would be my 4th tip for you, is make sure you're getting in a variety of nutrients. And a lot of people do find it helpful to also add in a really good quality multivitamin. And if that's something you're interested in, definitely reach out to me because I can give you some recommendations on different brands because they are most definitely not all created equal. Okay, my last tip for you, how to lose weight without relying so much on willpower, is another mindset tip. And this one's a pretty powerful one too, and that is to accept the fact that there will be discomfort. So the truth is that if you are wanting some chocolate or a glass of wine or chips, in the moment, if you don't give in and allow yourself to have that, there's some discomfort there because you are quote unquote depriving yourself. And it's not fun. It doesn't feel good in the moment, and that's discomfort. But there is also discomfort if you choose the other path and continue to give in to all those cravings and urges and thoughts that you have. If you keep going on the path that you're on and keep eating all the sugar and the junk and the things that don't make you feel good, then there's a long-term discomfort of not feeling comfortable in your body and not having as much energy as you'd like, not feeling as good as you could. So either way, there will be discomfort. And so you have to decide, is your why, is your bigger why, that number one tip that I gave you, is that worth it to face momentary discomfort? One of my mentors, Brooke Castillo, said once that discomfort is the currency of our dreams. And I so believe that's true. We want whatever your bigger why is, whatever your ultimate goal is, that is your dream. And there will be moments of discomfort along the way. And I think that by choosing to accept that and just knowing that, yeah, in the moment, it's not always going to be easy, and that's okay. But the end result is going to make you so much happier and healthier and more confident that it's worth it. It's worth it not to go down that path of giving in now and having ultimate discomfort in the long run. So those are my 5 tips for you. A quick recap, and I'd love to hear as I'm recapping these, which one is something that you think you could do something about or was most helpful for you. So number 1 is know your bigger why. Know why you're wanting to achieve your goal, whatever it is. Number 2 is to acknowledge your cravings in the moment instead of just distracting yourself or shoving them aside or ignoring them. Number 3 is reduce your sugar and processed food because then the cravings start to go away. Number 4 is give your body the basic nutrients it needs: water, protein, fat, vitamins, and minerals. And number 5 is accept the fact that there will be moments of discomfort on the way. So those are my 5 tips for you. And I promise you, if you start to implement even a few of them, you will find that it does just start to feel easier. It's not always like super duper easy, and there's still moments where you might want some sugar or want something. But when you have the tools and the strategies to figure out how to deal with it in the moment, then it's not relying on willpower and like trying to just white knuckle your way through it, but instead it's just dealing with it, accepting what's coming, and feeling calm and rational as you go. So if you would love some support with this, I would love to invite you to join my 21-day clean eating reset, which begins next Monday. So in this program, I will help you jumpstart your weight loss or just healthy way of eating in a healthy way that will get those cravings to go down, that will make it feel simpler to stick with long term. Plus, the bonus is that it's really filled with eating really good, delicious food, which again makes it feel like you don't need quite as much willpower when you're eating good, healthy foods. So if you're interested, I'd love to have you join us for that 21-day reset. But like I said, the catch is we start on Monday. So you really want to register ideally today, because I sent out all the program materials to everyone this morning. We're having our kickoff call tonight. So I'd love to have you join us. If you have any questions about eating healthy without relying on willpower, or just any other questions for me at all, just put them in the comments. And if you are interested in the 21-day clean eating reset, I'll put the link in the comments too. But that's ChristinaJohnsonWellness.com/winter-reset. So I hope you all have a great night. I'm going to go get ready for the kickoff call for my 21-day reset, which will begin in probably just an hour or so. So have a great night, and I will talk to you again soon.